Confessions of an Old Age NEET. The cost of watching this video to you is a subscription to my channel. If you manage to watch it all the way through, or you click off halfway, or you leave your desk or place of scrolling without a subscription, it won't be worth the guilt you will feel afterwards. I have just guilt-tripped you as Alan Milburn and McFadden and Marc Bolland are going to guilt-trip you into work. As I write this in preparation to read it out to camera, I have not one but two flies buzzing about my head. Leaving the back door open because of the heat and sunshine always comes with a cost. Alan Milburn used the word shameful to describe the number of 16 to 24-year-olds out of work. He has coined the phrase, the lost generation. Please don't worry about this labelling, because every 16 to 24-year-old generation has been labelled by the older ones. You are the tearaways. And may I say, as a 60-year-old NEET, may I wish you the most successful of tearing aways, because I don't wish for you a world of work. I wish for you a world of creativity and imagination. Follow your passion, they say, but how do you know what your passion is at 16? I certainly didn't know what my passion was when I was an inpatient at a mental health facility at the age of 21. I went into denial about my depression, anxiety, and general hopelessness about myself and the world, and entered the world of work. Very short periods of hire and fire, self-employment, council work, education, further so-called more professional work. And then at the age of 39, I had a huge nervous breakdown, which led me to being imprisoned for the drastic deterioration in my mental health. I had been self-medicating with cannabis and alcohol during the 18 years of trying to be employed, and latterly I was medicating with strong cannabis. I experienced a drug-induced psychosis, which led to a 4-month prison sentence in Amsterdam, the home of strong cannabis, and a 2-week observation period in the locked ward of a mental hospital. I was 39 years of age. The 18 years of trying not to be a NEET led to 21 years of being a NEET. I did venture into the world of education once again, but by doing that, voluntarily I lost my previous claim to benefits and had to start the application process all over again. Here I sit at 60 years of age writing this and speaking these words to you through the medium of YouTube. What I am about to say will bring a tsunami of condemnation from older viewers, but my advice would be to try and avoid the world of conventional work, if at all possible. If you know that you don't fit in and that you struggled at school, what makes you think that it will be any better in the world of work? There is the hierarchy, the pecking order, the boundaries, the bowing and scraping for promotions, the endless nervous energy expended of not being yourself and not being able to relax. In that respect, work is very much like school. You're thrown in with a whole bunch of different people, some of whom are bullies and who can impact on your day-to-day well-being in very intensive ways. So, you've just left secondary school at 16 and are looking back thinking, what the hell was that all about? Well, the next 8 years will either disprove your schooling and education, or it will prove to you that it was completely inadequate to prepare you to be a young adult, let alone a member of His Majesty's workforce. Looking back, I wish that I had had the fortitude and backbone to stand up against the Protestant work ethic and try to find a way out of our collective cultural conditioning. I wish that I hadn't been so shy and insecure around other people. I wasted those 18 years trying to self-medicate my insecurities. If you feel yourself to be normal, neurotypical, it still requires an enormous amount of energy to fit into the number of roles and boxes that society requires. A functioning society requires you to be obedient and compliant. Don't forget, you can always sound off on Twitter, but in the world of school and work, you have to be a good little drone. Some people might actually enjoy their work, and they might look back and think that they've had successful careers. I remember a distant relative once saying, "I was very well thought of at work." And I remember thinking, whoopee shit. Whatever plans the government has for you in terms of getting you back to obedient, compliant work, you can bet that it has been tried before in 1,000 different disguises. From the Youth Opportunities Programme, to the Youth Training Scheme, to apprenticeships, to whatever the new scheme is going to be called, it will encourage the reluctant into ill-fitting and ill-suited work. We've been led to believe that work gives dignity, self-esteem and self-worth. Something to do with your working day and working week. Something that allows you to enjoy your weekends. It might do for a small fraction of the population, but it certainly didn't do it for me. After an unhappy schooling, the last thing that I would be able to stomach was an unhappy workplace. Because I couldn't fit in, I was imprisoned for my non-compliance. The one thing that you should never exchange for a paycheck is your freedom. But countless generations have done just that for the lack of feasible alternatives. You are not the lost generation. You are the found generation. A big ask, perhaps, but why don't you unite to break the mould of cultural conditioning where work equals worthwhile and unemployment equals worth less? Generations of Victorian-clad gentlemen, from Conservative to Labour, from Reform to Restore, will have you believe that Arbeid macht frei, work sets you free. This is fundamentally incorrect. Freedom sets you free.